Hello, I want to talk about food today. I know it's from nowhere what food you are talking about. You could say that. Also, it is not easy topic to talk about because some misunderstanding can bring to this topic. Since we are in special education, especially we work with the children with some atypical neurodevelopmental issues they have. I'm not saying this food is really meant to, all disability, cause of disability or antecedent of disability. I'm not saying that. However, we all know how important it is. Not only nutrition. I know, many people emphasize about the nutrition and try to make sure their children have right nutrition so they don't get sick and mentally healthy, physically healthy. However, the food we should think is what the food has inside the menu, inside the bowl. And when we have this food and menu, and what they put inside what made of. Because these days in modern society, we eat a lot of food, mostly made by other people, because we are very busy and we work, and then we came home and then busy with the children. In the United States, when your children became school age, and then pretty much your job is driving them around. So you feel like you're a taxi driver. So pretty much as a parent, you don't have much time to stand in the kitchen and just make fresh food. So we sacrifice our food and we just rather spend money on food and then spend the time with the children more. So that is many parents would choose. However, I see food is important as much as we spending time with the children, because it keeps our not only physical health, but mental health and psychological health as well. So let's just think about it. And always, we most of days we thought about and we are thinking, however, somebody knocked your thinking door, and then, oh yeah, that's true. And you could nod and just agree. So we eat most of the food made by other people. And it could be restaurant food, it could be frozen food, it could be pre-made food in the grocery store. You can pick it up. And easily you come home and then you just microwave and you just eat. So it's very convenient, to be honest. However, our children eat those food made by somebody else, and we don't know, what basic ingredients. So we trust those people made, use the good ingredients and really sincerely, honestly, they made the food for other people's health. We want to trust. However, our life is always full of paradox. So good and bad, nice and not nice, and correct and incorrect. So we know that, it's not true. So anyway, I just, want you take a time and write down how many times, how many meals you bought outside, and how many meals you truly made in your kitchen. And not just, heat up and eat, not that kind. And even, you make a spaghetti and then you use spaghetti noodles and you cook spaghetti noodles and then you just have a can or bottle jar spaghetti sauce and you put it there and you make a spaghetti and then you just give your children with a little bit of nice cheese on it. Or your children like, and then you can buy some meatballs, frozen meatballs, and then you put in the stove or microwave and then put in the spaghetti, and they love it. However, making spaghetti is not that difficult. We all know that, right? You just need onions, a little bit of garlic, and whatever, just tomatoes, and then cheese. And, you just cook the noodles, and then the tomato, you just do a hot water shower and then peel it and then chop, and you put it there. And with the garlic and onions is great because you don't need any sweets if you put onions. Cook the onions always sweet. And salt and pepper. And if your child likes beef or meat, and then you can buy ground beef, and easily you can just make a ball, and then you just air fry or just a stove, you cook it, and then you can put it there like a meatball. So easily you can make a spaghetti. It doesn't take that long, just a matter of time. However, if you make, I really like to hire someone, even college students during the weekend or just once a week, and just have that person wash all of my vegetables and just chop and put it in the containers, and I just can cook. That takes the most time when I just go to grocery shopping and then buy a lot of veggies. Usually I buy not perishable ones. No, not perishable. There is no not perishable ones, but stays longer. It's like a spring mix or spinaches. It just goes, spoil very quickly. However, other vegetables, like instead of putting spring mix, I use cabbages, and I just all slice it with a cabbage slide, peeler, and slice cabbage, and then I wash it and put in the container. And onion, cucumbers, I love it, but however, cucumber is only 1 or 2, 3 days maximum, so I don't like it that much. However, I buy cucumber once a while and just use it to keep that nutrition. And carrots go forever. Onions go very long. And then just onions, I put just onions even in my salad, and onions almost every food because it's so important. And then garlic is so good. And Costco and Sam's Club and just any stores these days, they have a peeled garlics. And yes, we just buy the real cloves and then we peel it. That could be best. However, I just compromise that part because it takes too long. So I just smash the garlics in food processor or blender and then put it in the little jars and then put it in my freezer. And then just 1 jar by 1 jar, I just, most of the food I put garlics. And real garlics, just peeling garlics, not smashed one. I just put any kind of food. I just do, quick pan fries or just hot shower. I just put garlics there. So we could eat garlics a lot. Garlic is really good for your health. And a lot of it, most like in the past, it's antibiotic, roles that garlic did. So what I'm saying is cooking is not that hard. It's just a one bowl food we make with all those veggies in your refrigerator, container. It's just, once a week, you just listen to some good lectures or something in your just earphone. And then you in the kitchen, you just spend about 1 or 2 hours and prepare all these vegetables. And then easily you can just cook food if you like a seafood. And most of seafood is all very nicely cut and skin off, and then peel, like a shrimp is all peel off and then just frozen. So easily you can use those seafood or meat if you like, and meat and even chickens, and you just very thinly slice it, and then just olive oil and then pan fry, and it's really good. And then all those veggies, and then those salad dressing. I know there are many tons of salad dressings out there. However, easily just a balsamic, olive oil, and a little bit of sweet that's it. Or lemon and maple syrup, or just agave, or just a little bit of sweet, and extra virgin olive oil, and it's really tasty. I will see it's the best one. So if we really start, and then in the beginning, if you're not used to cooking, and easily, because it's a behavior shaping, so your days goes, and then your skills are getting faster and more proficient. So in the beginning, it takes about 3 hours, and you gave up and you never learned. But gradually you could do that. And then my rule is preparing food in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I have a food on the table. It's not just, leftover food. It's just one every meal. My rule is like at least one fresh food I made. So that is not just only ourselves and our children's health, but your children are looking at your cooking. And then the best way is you call your children for help. So they're helping and they're learning. I helped cooking all these kitchen skills from my mom, who actually forced me to help her as a first child. I had to help her because we have 4 kids, and my mom was, she was really good, but I don't know how much she enjoyed. However, that all the time, 1970s, 80s, every meal she had to cook, and every meal she went to the market and buy food, because at the time we didn't have a refrigerator. So every evening, not evening, but afternoon, my mom went to the market, buy just ingredients and bring home, and then she cooked. So I helped her a lot, and I didn't appreciate that. And then I thought always just like, I feel like I really didn't like it. And then I just could not against it. So I just did work. However, after my marriage and after became a mom, I really appreciated that experience, because I found myself as a working woman and then mom, and my hands were so fast. So that's the one skill. It's everything. Our lives is just we are a mirror of our children, right? They feel like you don't believe, they just play out there, they don't watch you, but they watch every single moms and daddies doing, and they watch it, and they copy, and they imitate and identify, and they learn it, right? So they just a lot of parts. So children just their walking style and their eating style and their speaking style is all just the same. Very, they just all adopted those from their parents. So if they see, mom and dad cooking in the kitchen, and then they will cook when they grow up, because you only can hold them about 18 to 20 years, right? After then, and then they just move out, and then they just take care of themselves. So at home, young age, they all the time just bought, food made by other people. They ate food made by other people. And then pretty much, especially the children, even, they grew up in home, their mom or dad all the time cook, but still they are crazily busy with the work and with the study, and just busy. And then easily they just on the way home, and they just pick up the food and just easily they eat. However, they eat that still inside them. They know that's not right behavior. They always wish, they have some more time and they want to cook. So if they have those wish and thought, and then eventually when they have some, time and money and their own life and settled, and then they will try to make a food. So these days, it's not only about the cooking or not cooking. What you put in your food, because like salad dressing, whole aisles, even full of salad dressings or sauces, right? In the grocery markets you go, and these are really scares me. Those are scare me because you never know, what they put in there, even though they have ingredients labels. However, somebody will have a saying, right? You cannot pronounce instantly, and that means you don't want to buy it. So we see ingredients we cannot pronounce, and we don't know what those are. These days we have cell phones, so smartphones, and a lot of times I just search it in the aisles, standing in the aisles, but I try not to use any sauces and dressings, even not only food, sauces and dressings, those ones. I really try to use salt, pepper, and then soy sauce. I cannot help because I cannot make a soy sauce. In the past, our parents made it. However, I cannot make it, so I gave up that part. And soy sauce, and then extra virgin olive oils, avocado oils, and then sesame oils, and then garlics, onions, and then green onions, and then leek. And those are my, seasonings and sauces I make. And very quick, easily you can make. Even those, what is that? Teriyaki sauce, bulgogi. I know many people know, bulgogi these days. Those seasonings are very simple. Just soy sauce and ground onions, ground onion and sesame oil and garlic, and a little bit of sweet. You could use maple syrup, agave, or just sugar canes, or what you like. However, with just you put a lot of onions, and then you don't need that much sweet there. So, and then white wine or cooking wine. So very simply you can make those sauce. However, I thought, Korean food is very complicated. That's what I thought. And we cannot make any sauce and dressings like, American aisles. However, these days you go to Asian markets, and then all those Korean food has many sauces and dressings. They made it non-spoiled, non-perishable, sauces and dressings for 1 year and 2 years expiration date. So it scares me. So anyway, that's what I want to say as an educator, because parents and even teachers have their own families. We really watch what our children eat. And these days we have many children. We all call children these days, almost every disabilities are neurodevelopmental disabilities. Neurodevelopmental disabilities. And then cognitive developmental disabilities or delays are under neurodevelopmental disabilities. And a few days ago, I read a Korean article. It says about they did a mice experiment. I'm just looking for my computer, try to find it. And they did mice, and they found it's very refined. Just probably even your bare eyes you cannot see those plastics. They found that mice brains have those plastics. It causes it really produce autism. I was surprised. And then they said it is the first time in the whole world they found that. And then that pregnant mice, and they intentionally gave those plastics and they ate, and then they found the baby mouse has autism. So it still just has a lot of questions they have to answer. And because, these days we know, we don't have a definite cause of autism yet. However, more percentage of researchers believe it is based on the DNA genes. So more like natural biological. And then about, I don't know, exact percentage, but seems like I feel like, about 60% and 40% environmental factors. So we know these are not just like whole about the, DNAs and genes and biological reason causes and whole about environment. They are not debating for that. It's just like a nature nurture debate. So this is combined probably. And environmental part is not just like I ate plastic now, I get autism. It's not that. However, what we eat, it goes to our babies and then go to next generation. And then our children got pregnant. It could be shown in their children, whatever we are eating these days. It is really, really scary because we don't know why we have these many neurodevelopmental disabilities. It is really because in our old time, those moderate to severe disabilities, intellectual disabilities, multiple disabilities, profound disabilities, those numbers are very, very down. However, these mild high instance disabilities are going up. I just see almost like 94, 95% of our school children have these high instance mild disabilities. So physically, they are just walking around, they are fine. Only the cognitive part, they do not function well, and then social and emotional, and those parts. And then motor part is orthopedic impairment is a very small number now. However, we have most of disabilities have sensory-based motor disorders, even weaknesses. It's a sensory-based motor function. So these, we are thinking about this, and then yes, a lot of we have many, many revolutionary changes in human life. Number one, our all just clothing are changed, so we have more factory made clothing, not from the cottons and wools and those net from the nature. And then number two, we eat many, many food made by other people, even, many corporations. Those dressings are by the corporation, and they do a lot of research. However, still, it's not by our hands with pure ingredients, right? And then housing, yes, we use more factory-made processed materials than in the past. We used mud and brick and stones and rocks, those natural ones. Even Korea's roof was a straw, so rice straw, and they just dried it and then they just make and then they just put on the roof. However, these days everything is so instant. All our life is instant. So we could see these causes from, we cannot pinpoint. However, among all these, which one is directly affect your body and your genes and your DNAs and your, biologically directly affects? It is food. I see it is food, so it is important. I know these groups, Korean group researchers research about this autism part, and it is the most scary part. I didn't just plastic and then, interesting. And then the part I was shocked was they intentionally put those plastics to that pregnant woman, mom, and then the baby had autism. That was really scary to me. So that means what we eat, it goes to our children. It may not directly right now, but our children's children could have, right? So I'm not saying about the autism, just any kind of, illness, sickness, whatever atypical, things to us. So that is very important. I'm gonna just use this one and I'm gonna use Korean school lunch and American school lunch. Don't get wrong, okay? I'm not praising and I'm not saying Koreans are doing well and not United States. One time in my many years ago in my classroom, into my seniors, they are about to go out and have a student teaching, or some of them already have a student teaching and to be a teacher. I discussed about brown food because it was I don't know, it's a Lindsay Gordon said that, or some guy from England. He mentioned about, American children eat brown food too much and people eat brown food too much. So I brought up that in the classroom and then I just talk about it. And I don't believe I even talked about Korean there. Who knows? And my students, some of my students took that, a few students took that one, and then went to other professor and said, Dr. Ko said, all American parents fed their children brown food, but Korean parents all fed fresh food. Who could talk that in front of children, students? I even didn't think about it. And who said Korean parents all just feed their kids healthy? Korean parents are same. They work so hard, and both parents work, and they just exhausted, and they come home and barely have just energy to feed their children. So I'm just saying this because many times my students, I don't know, they intentionally do that or just they, always human brain and they're controlled by their perspectives. So they already have a prejudice and they just thought I really said that. However, my background is I'm from Korea and I know about Korea and I know about United States. So I was a Korean citizen. Now I'm American citizen. So both places I worked with the children. And then I know, I went to school there, so I just know. But however, Korea has been changed so much and westernized so much. And then America is, the United States is the country influence and affect Korea most. So Korean society, you go there and then outside you don't see the people, only just you look at the buildings and then you will feel like you are in Manhattan, in New York. That much Korea is all the traditions are gone. One thing I really envy about Korea is their school lunch. I was shocked because I'm more like a lunchbox generation. I pack the lunch at home and then bring them all of the children. However, I don't believe it was that long, about 10 years. It has been 10 years or something. Korea made still, some of our province, I believe not still doing it. I'm not sure. However, Korea it was hot issues about the school lunch, free school lunch. Korea even didn't have at the time just auditoriums that big. It's only classrooms and teachers' rooms. So even they didn't have those big cafeteria to feed the children. However, Koreans started the school lunch. I believe it's over 10 years. It's probably Seoul is over 10 years at least. Seoul started first. And my students, my university students, because I'm teacher educator, so I had run teaching internship abroad programs for over 10 years. So I trained my university students, pre-service teachers, and they, went to Korea. Korean government paid their scholarships. We call it scholarships because they are still students. because of that, I went to Korea and traveled to schools to see my student, to supervise my student. And then I had many chances to eat Korean school lunch. It was amazing. Number one, it does not matter. School size is like over hundreds or just less than 100. Many just rural area schools, province schools, numbers are very down because of those people are all moved to large city school, large cities. Regardless that number, if school has enough number for the kitchen to cook, and then they have a nutritionist and dietitians, either one. So the menu, every school's menu is decided by that school nutritionist. And then they actually cook in the kitchen. It's like open kitchen. So we could see inside just kitchen. They cook food, fresh food. And especially rural areas, if I just feel like their food is from the farm to the kitchen, that kind of a food, and even meat was so fresh because I believe it is, they probably got the meat, around the animal farms. It was amazing. And then I was very impressed. Number one, they have a nutritionist in each school building. And then those nutritionists were busy when they cook, and then once the food are all prepared and children come, and then they started eating, and then nutritionists walk around the table. Any children leave any food, and then she encouraged and then nutritionist, I saw it's all female. So I never seen male. I don't believe I see. So that's why automatically I said she. They check children's eating, and then they encourage children. It is very good for your health. So can you try? So they even do those work. So whole time, lunchtime, she walked around, she greeted teachers and she greeted children and she encouraged children, and just, very soft way, gently, she encouraged them not to just leave any food. And that was very impressive because I remember I didn't go to K-12 schools here. However, I sent my two children to school. It was really, always debate. My children want to have a packed food, and I told them just eat hot food because I didn't want my kids for 12 years eat just sandwich with ham and cheese and just little lettuce. I thought that this is not nutrition, and I could not just pack. I could pack fruits a little bit, but other than that, it's all just applesauce and whatever I have to go and buy, and it's packaged food for the children. I didn't want to feed that, so I told them just eat hot food, and they said, oh, it's gross, Mom, I don't want to eat. And I tell them, still it's hot food, go eat. So my two boys, my oldest one, he 100% ate the school lunch, and then my youngest one made a deal with me because every morning I fed my children hot breakfast. That was the promise I made to myself. I became a working mom, and then that is the least thing I would do to my children. So I made hot food, and then my youngest one, smart one, he said, I believe it's 10th, 11th grade, because he played group sports a lot. So he came home very late, especially during the school days. They have games, and then 10, 11 o'clock, and then AP classes, and they had a lot of homework and slept late, and then probably barely made 5 or 6 hours of sleep during those a few years. And he told me, Mom, I don't have any appetite to eat hot food. I'm sorry, can I switch it to sandwich lunch so I can eat Mom packed the lunch? So I just daughter, and I looked at him and then, well, you're already 16, 17, I don't know, and almost you just made your body. So okay, I saw we switched this. So from that point, I started to pack his lunch with brown bread, all kinds of ingredients. What is that? Grains, and then I just did my best, but still, mayo I tried to make, and it just didn't work well. However, he ate those, a few years. Still, he said his sandwich was the best one among his, friends. Who knows? He just encouraged me to pack more. However, these, things I'm just talking. It is all about the children's life and the comparison of this school lunch. Even though it's just one lunch, because Korea, I don't believe any Korean schools provide breakfast. However, our schools provide breakfast. I don't know it's about suburban schools too, but I know large city schools, they provide breakfast and lunch. So it is really scary. Those young children come to school, eat 2 meals, and those meals are not prepared in the kitchen and pretty much all frozen. They came and then they heat them up, or just, I don't know, heat up, and then they just provide those food to children, and then all those fruits are not fresh fruits, right? And any veggies, I'm not sure, we even do that. I don't remember when I was in school and teacher, and if I ate any veggies, because once in a while I ate school lunch as well. So I think, United States, whole countries, whole world believes the United States is the richest country. However, many parts of what we are doing here is not really like we feel like we are the richest country. School lunch is the one, and next one is how we prepare teachers. So I just talked about probably several times about this teacher part, and just government does not prepare our teachers. I don't believe it's the right way, and how we recruit the teachers. And I know I made several lectures about it, but I'm not sure if I published it to other people to watch it or only my students to watch it. So this school lunch is very important, and we know that. So children at home, they eat food made by other people, and then at school, I know school lunch is just still made by other people, but it's not even made by other people. I believe it is made by cooperation, whoever provide. It's not around the restaurants provide those food. It's all packaged food. It's like a big package, like, fast food restaurants, you go and then they have a big bag of French fries, and then they just fry it and then give us, and all patties already made. So only they do is just grill it and put it in the hamburger. So it's a school lunch is the same. I just feel like, fast food restaurants, food, right? So we really have to think about this, because tax money goes to schools, and I know schools make a lot of facility maintenance and a lot of different things. However, any state, any school district start this thinking about this school lunch, if there is any way we could make a school lunch a little bit more better way with real food, not factory made food. And then these young children, because our school starts at age 5, it is scary, to be honest, right? Age 5, and then large city schools, those children eat 2 meals at school, and then only 1 meal at home, and there is no guarantee those home meal dinner is really good, fresh food. And they may not even touch any fresh vegetables at least a day, once a day. I don't know about that. So, okay, somebody could say, see, you don't know about that, so don't just talk and shut up. somebody can say that. However, let's just think about this lunch part, school lunch part. It's not just only large city schools, even suburban schools. I don't believe, they have any fresh food they provide. So I know, Obama time and just a school lunch, Michelle Obama tried to change it, and then children just hated it because all schools removed those soda vending machines, and they didn't appreciate that. However, it's not about only drinking part. It is really, I'm not sure, somebody gotta say something about this school lunch. I'm not saying this school lunch is really like, bad or, don't just get wrong. However, we all know, I don't believe that many people really enjoy the school lunch. So let's just think about it. And that's why I brought up this school lunch. Since I'm talking about the food, I try to talk about, home food. However, our children, not adults, our children, so eat school once or twice. I know many children pack their lunch, especially those suburban area children. They bring, lunch to school. However, still in their lunch box, see what they have. Most of what they have is all packaged ones. Applesauce is a packaged one. Those fruits are packaged one. And what is that? I forgot the yogurt types of, that's the packaged one. So all are packaged food and made by factory. So that is a one meal they eat. In the morning, they pretty much eat just oatmeal or something. I don't know, some kids may just skip the breakfast. And then dinner, and mom or daddy just, or they just eat out, or just on the way pick up, food, carry out the food, or just, cooked. So let's just think about it. I know, our modern life is just so busy. However, all this busy life we live is for us, right? To be happy. It's not just we are busy to damage our body and get sick easily. And then a lot of, health issues. And we know, many people after 50, and then we have a full of, those pill, bottles with us. So let's just think about our food, and then please don't get wrong, okay? Honestly, I bring this one to the table to think about and to talk about. It is very important matters, and everybody's, I know, we think about this once a while. However, really from today, you just make your own journals of what you ate. It's not about what ingredients you put there. You just bought the food, you made the food. And then you bought the food, whatever, just frozen food, whatever, you can say just bought the food. However, you cook the food, and then you could see, what kind of ingredients you put in there and what kind of food you made. And then first, you count whole month for 30 days, 31 days, how many times, how many percent you ate food made by other people, and how many percent you cooked. And then those you cooked food, it's all purely every ingredient it's from the really genuine one, or you use the sauces and dressings made by factory. So that's the first thing so you could do. And when you pack lunch for children, and is there any way we could pack food, more healthy food? And I know children got used to those, instant food, or just, they can, in the beginning, they hate nutritious food. They may not enjoy fresh food. And like in the spinach, even we had Popeye, the cartoons to feed the children spinach, that much certain healthy food the children do not like. And then we gotta be smart to feed those food. Okay, so let's just think about those, and then it's just, starting point. It is very important. Okay.